Jennifer Oberlin, Patty Cross,
Here.
Michael Nichols,
Here.
Lori McIntyre,
Here.
John Gilbert.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
All right, thank you very much, everybody, for being here today. Let's go for the approval of the meeting minutes from February 17th. And those should be in your packets and with you.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I see no opposition, so we'll move on. All right, new business. The first item on there is chairperson report and administrative approvals. I do have a couple of items. I'm going to start with the administrative approvals in everybody's packet, and for the record for this meeting, I'm going to read through that real quick. This is the report that we have every month that goes over the approvals that are done in office that don't necessarily have to come before this board. But just to let everyone know, it's for the period from February 11th to March 9th. In the Special Capital Historic Zoning District, we had 3 approvals. 429 Conway Street to replace 2 storm doors. 218 West Campbell Street, a renewal of a permit to repair a porch with in-kind materials. 416 West Campbell Street, miscellaneous exterior work, including installation of a privacy fence. And in the Central Business Historic Zoning District, we had 2. We had 325 St. Clair with a fascia sign and that was administratively approvable, and 200 West Main Street, window restoration work. I believe that is all on here, Vicki. Is there any others that are from the last month? Also, I guess as the chairperson report, I've got a couple other things just to let everybody know. Vicki hands out, or sends us periodically emails for continuing education credits. I know we all have to have a basic minimum. The one that is coming up next week, I plan on attending, and I would encourage you all to kind of look at that too when y'all get a chance, if you can. If not, always look at those and do those when you can. The one that's coming up, I think, was from the National Alliance on Preservation Commissions. The CEU on that was about preservation commissions and organizations. That one looked interesting to me, so I hope to attend that one next week, virtually anyway. And then also Vicki, she gave a presentation to the South Frankfort Neighborhood Association on historic preservation just in general, and that was March 2nd, right? All right, close enough anyway, right? All right, and then the last thing I want to mention just from a chairperson's report is Vicki and the Historic Preservation Office did receive a letter in acknowledging the receipt, and I think you got that in front of you, and also an email from the Heritage Council on receiving the Certified Local Government's Annual Report, our contribution to that. It was a very nice letter that shows the efforts that the city has made in terms of having a productive and focused year. Having, in the last 2 years doing additional survey work. I believe that is Holmes Street and Montrose, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So they acknowledged those efforts. They also kind of reiterated a congratulations on receiving the Paul Brunn Historic Revitalization Grant that we continue to use even now. And also had remarks on our public outreach things on educational initiatives, in particular for the elementary students that we've recently done. They did have a tax credit webinar that they want us to kind of mention to the public, but that's already happened. But I guess if anybody who's watching this or anything wants to know more about that, they can call your office and you can tell them how to get there. It was recorded.
It was recorded and there is a link.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. And then they just commended for an overall thorough report that was sent in. So kudos. Thank you for all the efforts that you've done in the office, and it is also a reflection of the city and this board. So that's good to know. Moving on, we've got 3 other items, and I'll ask Vicki to come up, and Dawn, if you want to read the first item up.
In accordance with Articles 4, 17, 18, and 19 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, Monica Robinson is requesting a conditional use permit to allow the historic garage located at 522 Steel Street to be used as an accessory dwelling unit. The property is more particularly identified as PBA map number 062-1401-008.00.
Good evening. I'm Vicki Berenberg, the Historic Preservation Officer, and we have 3 applications this evening. They all concern the same property at 522 Steel Street. That is in the Special Capital Historic District, which is South Frankfort. And thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
Can you see it better now?
Thank you.
The first application is for a conditional use permit to use an accessory building at the back of the lot, which is pictured here on this slide, as an accessory dwelling unit. That's kind of a new concept for South Frankfort. Recently, our zoning regulations were amended in the last year. It went before the Planning Commission and also the Board of Commissioners to allow this as a conditional use in both the Special Capital and Special Historic Districts. So, with that, I will start by saying that this building is an accessory building to a house that has been before the board before. I think it was in 2024. There was a rehabilitation of the main house, which is a historic 2-story T-plan house, vernacular style, built around the turn of the 20th century. And it's on a lot that contains approximately 4,000 square feet. The house is currently being used as a non-owner occupied short-term rental. The accessory dwelling unit is proposed for this building, which is a historic garage. It contains approximately 300 square feet. It is also considered contributing to the historic district. The application as submitted complies with the existing zoning regs, the parking requirements, comp plan, and we are recommending approval with conditions. Here's a picture of the main house, which you might remember. It's located at the intersection of Steel Street and Coleman Avenue. Here's a view of the north side of the property. You can see the side of the main house there, and also the historic garage tucked there in the back. Here's a PVA map. The yellow X shows the location of the main house. The green X shows the location of the historic garage. And here's a 1925 Sanborn map, which shows the house with the garage at the back, which is marked with the letter A, which stands for automobile. Here's photos of the front, which faces north and west sides of the garage. Here is a rendering submitted by the applicant that shows the intended interior of the space, which will be a small studio apartment with a small kitchen and bathroom. These are photos of the neighboring properties on Coleman Avenue, and also some streetscape views on the east side of Steel Street and the west side of Steel Street, which includes the subject property. All of the findings for the general conditions that must be met in Article 19 for a conditional use permit that are relevant for this application do have positive findings. With regard to 19.012, which has to do with access to public facilities, the plans for the ADU will be circulated internally prior to issuing a building permit to the technical review team so that everybody can look and provide comments, and if there are issues, we can address those at that time. I have had some conversations internally with some of the departments, and they are not anticipating an issue. Staff is recommending approval in accordance with the suggested findings on page 4 of the staff report, 4 and 5, and the recommended conditions on page 5. And I will attempt to answer any questions you may have. We did receive a letter from the adjoining property owner on Coleman Avenue in support of all of the applications. So I wanted to make you aware of that. She dropped that off yesterday.
Anybody have any questions? I see no questions. Is a representative of the property here? Come on up.
Hello.
State your name and address.
Hi, I'm Monica Robinson. I live at 522 Steel Street is my house that is currently an Airbnb. A few things. I absolutely love Frankfurt, and even though I have an Airbnb here or a short-term rental, I frequent here. I live here a lot. I'm full of dirt right now as I was doing some landscaping out there. I spend a lot of time in the community and going to community events and letting people know about the community and supporting my neighbors and spending time with them. And so I wouldn't say I'm a typical short-term investor. I really am in with the community and wanting people to come here and experience it and stay at my house, but be nice to my house. This is my first time doing a historic renovation, and I've done most of the work myself. I have brought in some local Frankfurt people doing my HVAC and plumbing and my electrical, and I want to make sure to support the businesses within Frankfurt. But other things that digging a 6-foot trench today, that's me, right? I'm out there, and my neighbors are always feeding me because they're like, "Did you eat?" And I'm like, "No." But I really want to thank you guys for your efforts here, because what makes Frankfurt unique and have so much character is the history. And, you know, without the board doing the approvals, you know, a lot of these places would be torn down. The garage or the accessory building, when I bought the place, the realtors like tear it down. And I was like, okay. At the time, didn't know you couldn't do that, and I'm glad we didn't, because it is such a unique building. Mr. Thurman actually lived in that building, and we found some of his World War II fatigues, and we were able to clean that up, and we're going to be putting that inside the dwelling. And so it had a lot of mold. It had a lot of, there was holes in the roof, and so all the insulation was moldy. So my neighbor adjoining had, you know, couldn't breathe because of the fumes that were coming out of the house. And so we gutted that last fall, and we got the main house done. And so we've just been getting the structure and everything figured out and fixed on the garage. But again, without the work that you guys do, the historic area wouldn't be historic. Buildings like the garage that was built, you know, it was before the 1920s, it was there, that would have been gone. And I am a person of history, and I like the character, and I think that's what makes you guys unique, and people want to come and visit the area. And so I appreciate that. And you're still not as bad as my homeowners association in Minneapolis, because I can't paint my house the same exact color without getting approval. So I will always stand up for you guys, because you guys aren't that bad. I have enjoyed the rehabilitation process and working with Vicki. She's been fabulous in answering a lot of questions that I have, you know, because it's not with ill intent that I would make, you know, like, hey, how about this door? And so she has been top notch to work with. And again, my neighbors have been wonderful. And I really think through how's this going to impact them, even as people are staying there. I'm particular about who's staying there and how things are going. And in the garage, I'm going to be doing rock wool, so then it helps with the sound barrier, and then 3/4 inch sheetrock to try to do as much as I can through the building process to be able to have less impact to my neighbors and any type of negative impact. And then just the community, I think everyone from Mayor Lane, he's been like super kind. Everyone is very, very nice and welcoming here. I wish I could bring my neighbors and everyone with me back to Minnesota, but I can't. And so I just wanted to let you know that even though it is going to be livable space that we're gonna do our best to make it. We're not going to chintz out on the features within the house. We're gonna try to stay within that historic, even inside within the building, that historic character. And we're not changing any windows and doors, even though it would be, as far as the space goes, it probably would be better, but I love the old character of the windows. And so we're just trying not to do anything from the exterior and keep it minimal, I guess. So that's all I have. Any questions for me?
Well, to start, when you come up for your name, the address of which you live,
Oh,
not necessarily
okay.
the address of the property, just for the record.
Okay, well, do you want my address then?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Just for the-
it's 11455 Wagon Wheel Curve, Woodbury, Minnesota, 55129.
All right, thank you.
Yep,
And did you receive the packet?
I did.
And you understand the terms?
Correct.
And everything that are in there, the finding of facts and the recommendations, should we approve that?
Yes,
And did you have any questions on this?
I do not.
All right, and with that, I will leave it all to you all. Do y'all have any questions for her?
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, any discussion? I see no public here for comments, or I would have others come up, but I don't know if you all. But anyway, with that, do I have a motion?
Oh, good, okay. Let me see if I can do that. All right, I would move that in accordance with Articles 4, 17, 18, and 19 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, that we grant the request for a conditional use permit to allow a historic garage located at 522 Steel Street to be used as an accessory dwelling unit based upon the findings of fact presented by staff on page 4, and with the conditions for approval as recommended by staff on pages 4 and 5.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. McIntyre?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Ms. Cross?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item.
In accordance with Articles 4, 17, 18, and 19 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, with the approval of number 2 on the agenda being granted, Monica Robinson is requesting a conditional use permit to operate a non-owner occupied short-term rental at the accessory dwelling unit located at 522 Steel Street. The property is more particularly identified as PVA map number 062-1401-008.00.
Okay, so you can see, same property, same building. This conditional use permit application is to operate the accessory dwelling unit as a non-owner occupied short-term rental. And again, to reiterate, the main house is currently being operated as a non-owner occupied short-term rental. We do have a cap in place for the Special Capital District, which amounts to 5% of the total dwelling units. That equals 56. And if approved, this will be number 46. The application complies with the existing zoning regs, parking requirements, comp plan, and we are recommending approval with conditions. Findings for the general conditions that must be met in Article 19 for a CUP. Those that are relevant here, they all have positive findings. I did include a map in the staff report so you could see where the other short-term rentals are located in the general vicinity of the subject property. The ADU at 522 Steel Street is marked on the map here with a star, and you can see I've circled the main house right in front of it. And again, staff is recommending approval in accordance with the suggested findings and recommended conditions on page 5, which are also shown on this slide.
All right, questions for Vicki? All right, thank you. And would you like to come up again?
I don't know, I mean. Monica Robinson, 11455 Wagon Wheel Curve, Woodbury, Minnesota, 55129. You're gonna remember it by the end of the night, because we got one more. Yeah, so we're asking to have this as a short-term rental. It will be a smaller space. Our other house has 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. This will be a studio with 1 bathroom. And it will probably have, we do have a parking map, so we do have parking in front of the house. And again, we're trying to make sure we have low impact in our neighborhood, and you know, just do our due diligence to make sure that we're good stewards of not only the land, our neighborhood, but also from a short-term rental community. So if we feel that there needs to be a change, we're not opposed to doing any types of changes. And you know, all my neighbors know if there's an issue, they can always contact me. I have great neighbors. They always show me pictures when people show up, and then they go by and say hi and talk to them, and they'll let me know, oh, they're having a good time. And so I feel very confident if there were any issues that they would bring them to my attention, and I would address them, because it's more important to me that I take care of my neighbors than a person renting my house.
Thank you. And you did receive this packet as well, I'm sure.
Yes, I did,
All right.
and I approve.
All right.
Everything that is on
Thank you
there.
very much. All right. Anybody have any questions for her? No questions. Do I have a motion or any conversation prior to motion?
Oh, my.
All right. So do I have a motion on the floor?
Oh, my. I would move that in accordance with Article 4, 17, 18, and 19 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, and provided, well, and, let's see. Which we've already done. Okay, so in accordance with Articles 4, 17, 18, and 19 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, I would move that, we approve the request for a conditional use permit to operate a non-owner occupied short-term rental in the accessory dwelling unit, property located at 522 Steel Street by Monica Robinson, based on the findings of fact presented by staff on page 5 of our report, and with the conditions for approval also on page 5.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. McIntyre?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Ms. Cross?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, next item.
In accordance with Articles 4, 16, and 17 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, Monica Robinson is requesting a certificate of appropriateness for miscellaneous exterior alterations, including the construction of a small deck to the historic garage at the property located at 522 Steel Street. The property is more particularly identified as property PVA map number 0621401008000.
Okay, the final application for this property is for a certificate of appropriateness, and it is for a few miscellaneous exterior items to the historic garage, which again was constructed in the 1920s. These include a material change to the roof from old corrugated metal sheets to asphalt shingles. That work has already been completed, and the request for approval is being sought after the fact. The existing material was not the caliber of metal roofing today, and the new asphalt matches what was installed on the house. And we have many historic garages of the same era with asphalt roofs in the district. The other items that are part of the request include the replacement of the entrance door on the east side of the building, construction of a 6-foot by 22-foot deck, also on the east side, and then paving the parking area on the north side off of Coleman Avenue there in front of the green door. The applicant is intending to restore the existing historic windows and make one new window to match the others for an opening that currently doesn't have a window. This work can be administratively approved along with gutters and downspouts on the building. This photo shows, it's from Google Maps, and it shows the previous roofing material. Those corrugated sheets are just kind of laid on top of one another. There's not standing seam or anything like that. I'm looking at that photo and it's making me think of a B-52 song. The door that they're planning to replace is shown there on the left side in this photo, and there's a better picture of it here. It is a wood paneled door. It's very similar to doors that are used for the interior of historic houses. You can see it's not in the best shape, and it's had some shoring up over the years. It doesn't appear to have a doorknob at the present time. The applicant would like to replace it with a design and material that is comparable to what exists on the main house, and the applicant did submit these two photos of both the front door and the back door, which are very similar. So she's looking to add some lights at the top of the door, which will help with the interior light of the accessory dwelling unit. She also submitted this rendering of the proposed deck, which is just for illustrative purposes. It's not totally accurate. It's not intended to wrap around the front like it's shown here. But it does give a general idea of how the deck will look. You may remember that there was a deck approved for construction on the main house in 2024. However, the applicant has decided not to move forward with that proposal. So there won't be two decks, there would just be this deck. Staff does find the proposal compatible with the design guidelines for the South or Special Capital Historic Zoning District and the zoning regs for this district, along with the suggested findings on page 4. So we are recommending approval with the recommended conditions, which are also found on page 4. And you'll note that some of the final details here that haven't been completely sorted out, like the exact door that's going in, can be worked out in consultation with staff. And that's all I have.
I did notice, just reading through this report, there was a sentence that looked like it was just in there erroneously, under the scope of work
Mm-hmm.
paragraph, let's see, third sentence down, it says the property is now registered and operating as a bed and breakfast. So I just didn't want that to remain in there and confuse anybody.
Right, I think that was intended to be a reference to the main house, which is currently operating as a bed and breakfast.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
a bed and breakfast as opposed to a.
Or no, I meant short-term rental. You're right. I don't know why I put bed and breakfast. You're so right. There is a difference.
Okay.
There is not food being served.
Okay.
At least not by the host.
Okay,
That's a good catch.
and I figured that's what you meant, but
That is what I meant. Thank you for catching that.
Yeah, I
I did
thought
not
that-
catch that.
Yeah, that could confuse somebody if they were going back and looking at
You're
this
right.
later on down the line, so.
Thank you.
So the entrance to this, STU would be through that little door that is facing kind of the back of the house.
Yes.
And then the garage doors would be,
They would just
Fixed.
remain and fixed.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
yeah, okay, got it.
Only question I have is, the existing door, while it looks like it needs to go away, the one that's being replaced, that would be the entry on the side. And I'm just recalling from memory here, is there some program about, like, sometimes, even though that door might not be used here, could others salvage that in some way, or unless she has plans for it otherwise?
We haven't talked about that. I'm not aware of a salvage situation in Frankfurt. Sometimes I know the board has approved the replacement of historic wood windows on a condition that the, historic windows remain on the property so that a future owner could put them
Gotcha.
back if they wanted. But salvage off-site, I'm not sure where we would
Yeah, I'm just
recommend that
curious.
to
I
go.
didn't, because I am recalling the windows, and I realize that's a difference, and now here we're at a door, and I'm not like, I don't plan on asking for any, like, changes or anything, but just for future reference as much as anything about the ability for carpenters and so forth to have, because it's not every day you see those kind of details.
Right.
Could be salvaged for
It's true.
making other things better at other opportunities.
It's true,
All
yeah.
right, that's all I had.
Thank you.
What I
Oh.
had was, I think me being confused. The replaced door is on what I consider the side, but that would be where the front entrance is, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be my understanding.
And
And
the-
you can see on this rendering, she put in a door similar to the front door and back door on the main house.
Right.
There's some glass at the top with divided lights, and that would be the main entrance into the dwelling unit.
And the garage door, the original garage door is on the side
It's on the north
then?
side,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, because
On the
I was
alley
trying to
side.
figure out how that door could be where it is, because on the rendering earlier, that was a shower. So I'm now with you.
Let's go back
Oh,
and look.
In the,
I know
the
what- yeah, I see what
second
you're saying,
thing that we looked at,
on the
Yes.
floor plan.
The
the
door
floor
is,
plan,
the door, well, yeah, the dimensions maybe are a little,
That's a whole bathroom right there
but
in
it
proximity.
turns.
it looks like the shower is where the door is, but the door you can see is up in the upper right corner, and that's intended to be that east side, I think.
Right.
Oh.
I think I just had it
Yeah.
in my mind kind
I
of
did
turned
too.
around,
Oh,
so
yeah, it
I feel
looks like
better.
it's-
We're not going to be entering a shower.
Yeah, it looks like the orientation is,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, right, yeah.
Switched. yeah, rotated,
Okay,
So the entry, is it on that side that we see right there?
yes.
Yeah. It'll be
Where
on
the
the
So where's
side.
the
will be.
bathroom related to that? Not that we care about the inside, but we
it'll
do
be
care
over in
about,
that corner.
Yeah, do you wanna,
yeah.
It's in the opposite.
I can-
When she comes up, she can answer
I'll
that.
give you the details.
All right,
you can flip these around too.
thanks, Vicky.
All right.
Again.
And when the owner come up, yes.
Monica Robinson, no relation to Jill Robinson, my neighbor. I'm at 11455 Wagon Wheel Curve, Woodbury, Minnesota, 55129. So for the door, we would like the door to match the front door and the back doors. We have 3 exterior doors on our main house, and we would like them to stay similar. So we'll find a wooden door to go there. And we actually do have wooden doors that were in the garage that we have in storage right now, and whatever we don't use, we'll be taking those to Bauer Brothers. If you ever watched Rehab Addict on HGTV, she would always go to Bauer Brothers in Minneapolis, and they do salvage products for these old, that's where I would drive back and forth, and I'd find stuff in Minneapolis at some of the salvage yards and bring them down. So I will be bringing those up there to make sure that they would be repurposed for whoever can use those next. I haven't found a place, I think there's one in Lexington, but I haven't found a place locally here that I can go to. And for the deck, we did have concrete steps that were holding by one piece of rotten rebar that I snipped up, and then the whole thing dropped. And so it was not safe to walk on at all. And so we just want to extend the deck. Let's see, I'm going the wrong way. Maybe I gotta go this way? This way?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So close, there we go. So for the deck, you can walk, the parking area is gonna be over here, so that, I try to black out that fence there. The parking area will be right here, and then they'll be able to walk with no steps into the door. when you walk into the door, walk through the door, you will walk into the kitchen area. And in the kitchen area, we'll have a washer dryer combination. That we want to have the sink under the historic window because you can open it up and it's really neat. And so we'll have an L-shaped kitchen with the center island, and we'll extend that center island for a kitchen space so you can sit down and have breakfast or dinner. Couch, living room area will be in that blank space. And then the bathroom, I really wanted to use one of the historic doors that we have in our storage unit to be able to put into the building. And it'll just be a small shower. And the bathroom will be, so the bedroom area would be kind of there, those doors would be fixed, and the bathroom area would be there, and you can open that window. It has a latch on it, and you can open the window up. And the window does need one pane fixed, and I'll be fixing that. But, so then we'll still be able to save that window. That was important to me, that you would be able to use it and not block it. And, just because I think it's really cool. And, so that's kind of the floor plan. It's just very small. It's going to be 302 square feet finished. And that's with all of the sheetrock and stuff included in on that. And so it's going to be a nice little place that, you know, people can come and visit, and my local neighbors can use for if they have guests coming. And it would be a space too, I think, that the community could use when they have guests in town, but also as people are moving. I have two neighbors who their building got bought out and their rent is increasing pretty high, and they want to stay in the area. And so I proposed the area for them to stay at short-term and do a short-term rental until they can find a space to live or a house to live in South Frankfurt. So, but yes, but it is a small studio, and it's going to flow really nicely. And again, we're going to try to keep the historic character like we did on our main house.
Anybody have any questions? Oh, yes. Did you receive the third one?
Oh, yes, I did receive that, and I do approve the changes.
I will remember that one of these days. All right. Anything else? All right. I see no questions. Thank you very much. And seeing no one in the audience, do I have any conversation from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Oh, my.
I guess I could take a stab at it.
All right.
You got it.
I'll
I know
try.
you got it.
Okay, so in accordance with, I'd like to make a motion that in accordance with Articles 4, 16, and 17 of the City of Frankfurt zoning ordinance, that we grant a certificate of appropriateness to Monica Robinson for the miscellaneous exterior alterations, including the construction of a small deck to the historic garage at the property located at 522 Steel Street. And that would be based on the findings of fact and which page 4. Findings of fact and the staff recommended conditions for approval, also on page 4 of the staff report.
All right, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. McIntyre?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Ms. Cross?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. And the last item is citizen comments. Seeing no citizens here, other than ourselves, I've asked for a motion to adjourn.
About this weather.
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
All right. Second?
Oh, second.
All right, and I think we're all in favor, so. All right, this meeting's over.